Welcome to Mastering Manual, the book. The great thing about the book is that it can be studied anywhere in the world. The book is delivered digitally so that you'll get instant access to the book. So within 5 minutes of now, you can be learning how to master manual. It's exactly the same content that's in the course that we deliver face-to-face in Henley-on-Thames in Oxfordshire in the UK. So if you're close to the UK in Oxfordshire, then great, come along and do our course. If you're anywhere else in the world or you prefer to learn from a book, this is the book for you. The book is for beginners, so maybe you haven't taken your camera out the box, maybe you've had your camera for years but you haven't taken it off of auto. That's the whole point of this book. It's about getting you to take that camera off of auto, to start taking control, for you to dictate the sorts of photos that you want to get, rather than leaving it to potluck with your camera and the auto function. So if you're taking a portrait and you want to blur the background so the focus is on the person, not being distracted by the background, then this is the course for you. We cover the skills needed to do that. If you want a nice sharp landscape, again, those skills are covered. If you want to show movement in a photo, so for example a moving subject, you want a bit of blurring, or maybe you don't want blurring, maybe you want a nice sharp photo which freezes the subject. Again, all those skills are covered in this course. So we look at mastering the manual mode, but we also look at aperture priority and shutter priority. They're good stepping stones to get you to the point where you're mastering manual. Because at the end of the day, it is all about capturing those special moments. Perhaps it's a loved one growing up. Perhaps it's spending time with friends and family. Maybe it's that once in a lifetime holiday. Whatever it is, this course will give you the skills to start mastering manual, for you to take control of your camera so you get the photos that you want to take. But the book is delivered in such a way that it's easy to understand. Any technical terms are explained and there's lots of exercises. So even if you don't quite understand the printed word, once you work through the exercises, hopefully it should all start to come clear. And they're exercises that you can keep repeating until you really get that piece of information and you really understand it. And also, you've kind of committed it to memory, and so that you can start using it without thinking. That's where we want to get to. So, what specifically does the book cover? Well, how a camera works. So it looks at what a camera's doing and how it's capturing that image. This is important because if you understand that, that's very good foundational information for actually using the functionality of your camera, because you know what your camera's doing. One of the key things as well that we cover is getting perfect exposure. Not dark photos, not too bright photos, but perfect exposure. You may have heard of something called ISO. You may not. It doesn't matter, we cover it on the course. But ISO has pluses and it has minuses. On the negative side, it can cause you to get noisy photos, lots of spotty colours, not nice and smooth colours in your photo. So if you've ever had an image like that, this course will show you how to avoid that going forward. One of the other key things is choosing the right aperture. So we mentioned before about blurring backgrounds or nice sharp landscapes. Aperture and aperture priority are things that you can use to make sure you get the shot that you want. And I mentioned before about shutter speed, and we look at shutter priority. Aperture priority, shutter priority, they're great stepping stones on the way to the manual mode. And next we'll cover the manual mode. So the manual mode puts together, you're controlling three things: ISO, aperture and shutter speed. And we've already covered each of those three things separately, so by now you understand in the book what they are, and all it's a case of now is putting them together. Some courses, some books try to make that quite complicated. They talk about exposure values and calculations and all of that nonsense, frankly. What we do in this book is we show you a really simple way of making sure that you get perfect exposure every single time. So maybe, and I hear this quite a lot, maybe you're one of those people that decided to spend a bit more on their camera so that you could get some great photos. In reality, what that extra money bought you was extra functionality, but if you're using auto, you're not making the most of that. So you paid for functionality you're not using. By mastering manual, you start to use some of that functionality or build your confidence up so you can then start to use other areas of your camera as well and start to explore. Because otherwise, you've paid for functionality you're not using. So I hate to break it to you, but you've wasted your money up until this point if you're only using auto. But with this book, hopefully, at the end of it, you'll then really understand what you need to be doing, how you master manual, and you can start using that functionality and you can start getting some value out of your investment. But all this is done in the book. It's plain English, it's not lots of jargon, there's lots of graphics, there's lots of photos and lots of exercises to really make sure that you understand what's being covered. So are there alternatives to this book? Of course there are. You can spend your time trawling the internet, hoping you get lucky and find a piece of information which points you in the right direction. You might get lucky, or you might just waste lots of time. You could use some of the terms that I've been using during this video to then go and read generic photography books and try and piece it together. You could try and teach yourself just by playing with your camera. What I'm offering to you in this book is a way of avoiding wasting your time, avoiding frustration. This book, with doing the exercises as well, should take you around 2 hours. So it's not a big investment in time, and by the end of that 2 hours you should be mastering manual and well on your way to taking control of your camera. Also as well, it's only £12. Okay, so how much do you value your time that you're going to spend trawling the internet or trying to piece together generic books, or just hoping that if you play with your camera enough that you might get lucky? Okay, for me, £12 and 2 hours, it's a no-brainer. It's great value for money. The knowledge you're going to get at the end of it is going to really move you forward in your photography journey. But what if I'm wrong? What if it doesn't? Well, I'll give you a 100% guarantee. So if the book doesn't deliver what I've told you, then just let me know within 30 days and I will give you all of your money back and an apology for wasting your time. I'm that confident in the book. So it's risk-free. You've got nothing to lose by downloading this book today. So if you just press the button below, you can have your book and you can be learning this within the next 5 minutes. It's immediate delivery, so you haven't got to wait for it, and you can be mastering manual. The information in this book is come from my one-to-one teaching of my clients. So my one-to-one clients pay hundreds of pounds to teach with me. You're getting the value of that same information, those same teaching techniques, those same exercises, but all boiled down into a book for £12. Okay, so it's great value, and I'm continually refining the book and all my courses based on that feedback. So you're getting the very latest information, the very latest teaching techniques. As I said though, if it doesn't do it for you, if you don't agree that the book was good value, it doesn't teach you what you need to know, come back to me within 30 days and I will give you 100% of your money back. Okay, so it really is risk-free. So if you want to start mastering manual, if you want to start taking those great photos, if you want to really start getting value for your investment that you've put into your camera, then press the button below, order the book and start learning how to master manual. Thank you.